Well, more now on the New Hampshire primary. Donald Trump, as you know, won in New Hampshire last night, beating Nikki Haley by about 11 points.
So despite the loss, Haley says she's not backing down, telling supporters this race is far from over.
So where does it go from here? The director of the Marquette Law School poll, Charles Franklin, is back with us. Hello, Charles.
Good to be here.
Before we talk about where it goes from here, let's talk about last night and what are the headlines coming out of New Hampshire?
Well, the headlines are Trump wins by 11. That's a pretty convincing win. On the other hand, the polls had him winning by about 20. Haley did better than the polls. Trump only did slightly worse than the polls. So she overperformed. Now, granted, that's in the aftermath of DeSantis and everybody else dropping out of the race, boosted her a bit beyond where the polls had her. So it's a solid Trump win, but it's not the knockout blow that I think he had been hoping for, another 20 or 30-point win like he had in Iowa.
Did more independents go with Haley?
Lots of independents voted, and lots of them voted for Haley. Like Wisconsin, independents can vote in the Republican primary, and according to the exit polls, made up about 45% of voters. Haley won the independents, Trump won the Republicans.
She says that she's not giving up yet. Is there a path for her?
It's a very limited path, and it always was very limited. Having lost these first two contests, no matter what the margins were, she's lost the springboard that might have accelerated her going forward. We have a Nevada pair of contests coming up that are kind of weird. There's both a primary and a caucus, and only the caucus counts for delegates. But Haley's on the primary ballot, as I understand it. So it's kind of a weird process there. Then in about a month, it's the South Carolina Republican primary. That's her home state. She was governor there. But Trump is leading in the few polls that we have with over 50% to Haley's about 20 or 25%. So going home to South Carolina is not a big advantage for her right now.
What does that tell you, that her home state is not going to give her what she needs?
Well, it raises the real question of, do you want to stay into that? Because if Trump has a strong base, it's a conservative state, it's a Trumpy state, do you go there and then lose? Isn't that kind of embarrassing? You know, remember Ron DeSantis on Tuesday night or Monday night in Iowa said, you know, I'm in it, I'm going on to South Carolina. 5 days later, he dropped out of the race. So we'll see if her donors continue to support her and whether the enthusiasm of the voters, and does she want this month-long slog before South Carolina?
A lot of Democrats are talking about they would prefer to see Joe Biden go up against Donald Trump than Nikki Haley. And you've done some recent polling that sort of explains why people feel that way.
Yeah, in our polling, both in Wisconsin and nationally, Haley does much better against Biden than Trump does. Here in Wisconsin in November, Biden led Trump by 2 points, but Haley led Biden by 9 points. And what we see in all of that is Biden wins a little more party loyalty from Democrats than Trump does from Republicans, and there's a little more crossover vote from Trump to Biden. But when it's Haley in the matchup, she holds the Republicans a little better than Trump, and she wins independents very solidly, which is tied in a Biden-Trump match. So I think you can kind of think of it as if she's sort of a normal Republican, not a Trumpy Republican. She wins those independents and those Republicans that don't like Trump, but she also appeals to Democrats and independents who are kind of disaffected with Biden right now with his low job approval numbers and doubts about the economy.
If she doesn't win in South Carolina, does she have enough states before Super Tuesday to stay in the race? Or if she loses, do you think it'll effectively be over?
I don't see how she stays in past South Carolina if she's lost 3 in a row. Super Tuesday's not a night that's favorable to her. New Hampshire was the best state for her. Lots of independents, lots of moderate voters, relatively few religious conservatives. When we go to South Carolina, those tables are turned. And when we go to Super Tuesday, there are a lot of southern states and pro-Trump states. There may be a handful that might be a little better for her. But it's awfully hard to win big on Super Tuesday if you haven't got a steamroller going in the lead up to
And that's
it.
March 5th, I believe, right? I think so.
I think it's
I'm
about
just trying
that.
to keep all the dates
I'm just
straight.
trying to get through February
I was
at
just
this
going to
point.
say that, right. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
We'll see
Thank
you again
you.
soon.
Back.
Thanks for coming.
We're back after this.